Hello everyone, thanks for joining me today. Today we're doing a tabletop review of the RUGER Mark IV Target version. You can see Target right there. This gun feels amazing in the hand. It really honestly does. It's got that very aggressive Luger grip angle, so you can see how steep that is. Much steeper than, let's say, the 1911 grip angle. And this gun I'm actually going to get rid of, and I'll get into why. First of all, let's talk about the pros. So this thing is super heavy, so you get almost no recoil. Obviously it's 22 LR, so you're not going to get much recoil to begin with. It has a manual safety. It does not have a reciprocating slide. So as all the RUGER Mark series, all the way going back to the very first generation, this is a reciprocating slide. Or not reciprocating slide, sorry, reciprocating bolt rather. So it operates more so like, let's say, an AR-15, though it doesn't have the gas function or anything like that. It's more of a straight blowback type of thing going on here. But you've got the bolt, it's got the little wings here, and so that's how you pull it back. There's the bolt release right here. If you want to take it apart, it's actually super easy with the 4th generation, the Mark IV. They made it a whole lot easier than with the other versions. All you do is make sure that the safety is on. If you want to make life easier for yourself, take the magazine out, and then you just push this little button right here, and pow, the thing comes apart. And then you've got the bolt right there. You can pull that all the way out, easy enough. And you've got other parts you can pull off, like the spring, the recoil spring, and such. So the sights here are fully adjustable for windage and elevation. And then you've got some set end screws, which you can remove with an Allen wrench. I forget what size it is. And you can put a rail on it, at least on the top. Some you can put a rail on the bottom, or it comes with a rail on there. This one you'd have to tap the screws, take it to a gunsmith, or you can do it yourself, put them in there, and then you can put a rail on the bottom. Continue rail. Then to assemble this, you just kind of connect it to that little notch right there, set it in, and this little floppy pin, just line it into that hole right there, and you can try squeezing all day, but you can make it a lot easier for yourself by just pushing the button in and then pushing down, and now it's fully assembled. So in terms of ease of taking apart and putting back together, pretty easy. You've got a lot of modifications you can do to this. There's a lot of aftermarket support since the Mark series has been around forever. Like I said, I think it's 1949 when the first gen came out. Probably started disassembling some of those Nazi Lugers and decided to make their own version of it. So this edition has a fully stainless steel frame. So the lower half is all stainless steel. Unlike most handguns, the serialized part is actually the top part. So the barrel. I forget. Oh, yep, it's right there. So the serial is right here. So you can buy a different grip for it. You could buy one of the 40, what is it called? The 2245, I think they call it, for 45 ACP, and it's a less steep grip angle, and you can just exchange it. If you want a different barrel, then it's an FFL item, so you'd have to send that in. Whereas most handguns, the barrel and the slide that is not serialized, usually it's the frame. Okay, so in terms of trigger pull is pretty decent. It's actually not bad. So obviously we are empty. Oh, I didn't fully actuate it, that's why. Pull. Well, what is going on here? Oh, I think you might actually need the magazine in. Yeah, sure enough. I don't think I ever paid attention to that. How about that? Okay, so that's a safety feature. So if the magazine is not in all the way or it's not in at all. So let's say it's in, but it's a little bit loose. And go to actuate this. Oh gosh, it got me again. We'll go into that con in just a second. But, oh, it actuated. Okay, so I guess if it's in there enough, man, you'd think I hadn't had this thing for 4 years. But anyway, so there's that. The magazines are 10, so they're single stack, and it's got a little follower you can pull down to make it easier for yourself. If you pull it all the way down and then toss them in there, you're guaranteed to get them jammed up. They're not going to feed right, so you got to pull them down one at a time, pull a little bit more, put another one in, put another one in, and then they'll stack correctly with the angle of this. Unfortunately, it is only 10, so if you're in California, great. You can have this gun, I think, until they make it worse. And like I said, I am planning on getting rid of this thing. I just don't. There are some serious problems. So we'll go into those. First of all, I don't love the sight picture. I know you can get different sights for this thing, but black on black just makes it really hard, and it's to see, especially in lower light. Can you see that? Yeah, so black on black, not great. Obviously, you can change these out, or I could just paint the front of this. Even with that, though, I don't find that this gun is super accurate, at least not for me. I could put an optic on there, granted, and make it more accurate. Second, and it goes, for every pro, there's a con. So obviously, it's very heavy, minimizes recoil. 22 is never going to have much recoil. But this thing is obnoxiously heavy. It's well in excess of 30 ounces. I think it's 35 maybe. I don't know. It's super, super, super heavy. I don't love the trigger on it. Obviously, you could change it out, have a new trigger. The bolt bite on this thing is a real thing. So you're going to get punished every single time you ride this bolt back. Your fingers will catch here, and you'll be saying, ouch. As much as practice as I do have with this thing, and I've used it a lot, I've shot, I don't know, many thousands of rounds out of this thing. It still gets me, and you can see the outcome right there. I'm bleeding. So didn't try to do that. It just happened, and it's happened more than once, and now I'm bleeding on my gun. So yeah, it's a real thing. Now you can get a different bolt or an attachment to the bolt, and it's like a little plunger, and you can pull from there, so then you don't have to worry about the bolt bite. What other features don't I like about this thing? So we talked about the sights, we talked about the weight, we talked about this, the trigger not being too great, and they're kind of pricey. Only 10 round capacity. Newer guns like the Taurus TX22, I think SIG and Walther are making ones with higher capacity, so it's like a stack and a half essentially. It's a little bit hard to stack 22 LR because it's a rimmed cartridge, but they're figuring it out. At least my Taurus, so it doesn't really have any problems. Let's put it that way with the stack and a half. Even though this is stainless, it's starting to rust in a couple spots, and it's not like I've been rough with this thing. I oil them all the time, and I don't really get why it would be doing that, but there you go, maybe another con. I don't find that it's too accurate, at least not for me. And then reliability. This thing is a jam-o-matic. If it likes the ammo, then it tends to run okay. It'll still jam up from time to time, even with the best stuff like CCI mini mags. It generally likes those, but it still jams up. You get a jam, you'll get it won't eject the cartridge, or it won't feed it. Generally speaking, ammunition that has got a flatter front, so some hollow points and stuff like that, it tends to get caught in the feed ramp. So it doesn't like that. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get in there and try to get it out. I've had to multiple times take a knife and kind of try to whittle it out when the extractor doesn't fully extract the ammunition. Lord help you if you try to use Federal Auto Match. It will jam every second cartridge, like constantly. I bought like a 1,000, like 3 bricks of those during COVID times when it was the only thing that I could find. and I tried shooting with this thing, and I gave up after 2 magazines. It was just awful. So generally, with some federal bulk ammo, it can be okay. I haven't found much success with anything other than the Thunderbolts, but it's been a fun pistol, and I got it from a friend for $200, which was a steal of a deal. I mean, for that price, I think it's worth it. $550 to $600, which is what street price you'll pay for this thing in a store new. I do not think it's worth it, and I would not recommend it. I think there's much better options out there. But be that as it may, it does have a long sight radius, which you would think would make it very accurate. For whatever reason, it's not that accurate for me. I mean, granted, at 25 yards, I can definitely get it in a circle about the size of my hand, which is not bad. 25 yards, being able to kill a rabbit. But I can do better with other shorter guns. So, yeah, I would say that I had really high hopes for this gun. I did enjoy it at first when I didn't have any basis for comparison, but then I started to get different guns, and I started to realize, I can do better. I can do better. It's kind of like that first girlfriend. You think it's the one, you think she's the one, and then you realize, no, there's actually better out there. Oh, that's another con. It loves like the bolts that are holding this in place, or I should say screws rather, that are holding this in place, such as right here. The front sight, I had the front sight just a few shots after I got this thing come completely loose on me. And then we put it down and locked it down with Loctite. I think maybe it was the red type, which is meant not to come out again. And then this one is constantly walking itself out. So much so that I thought that it was actually a feature of it when I got it, because it was already popped out a little bit. I thought it was supposed to be popped out. And I was like, man, that is really kind of weird. And then I started to notice it really was coming out. I was like, okay, something's wrong here. And it's just, with an Allen key, it's just an Allen wrench style, and just put it back in there. But without Loctite, like these things are constantly walking, the screws are walking themselves out. So it's the type of gun that feels like it could survive the apocalypse, and if you can find the right ammo, it is reliable-ish. 22 is not the most reliable cartridge to begin with, but this thing doesn't really help it out. So would I recommend this gun to you? Well, test it out. I think it's worth a shot, and if I had the one with the threaded barrel that's a little bit shorter and I could put a sight on it, I might not be as worried about kind of some of those complaints that I have if I had like the attachment to the back so I wouldn't get slide or bolt bite and stuff like that. I might not have so many complaints. If I had the money to just sink a bunch of money into this thing, yeah, I might have fun with it. But honestly, I'm not too impressed. The reliability, the lack of extended capacity, and other things about it. And granted, this is meant to be a heavy model. It's a target model. It's for target shooting, and that weight creates stability. Unfortunately, when you shoot it, the front tends to bounce around because it's not super well balanced. And could you change that? Yeah, you could probably put some tap screws in there, put a light or something like that, and that might make it heavier and keep it from bouncing up as much. But maybe you could change the grip angle, and that might change it as well. But again, that's investment. That's an investment that I don't think is worth it for me. So that's the tabletop review of the Ruger Mark IV Target model. And I hope you enjoyed. And as always, God bless all of you and have a wonderful day.